Today I'm showing you how to make sourdough discard pizza dough, along with some tips for making a better homemade pizza from scratch. So grab your extra bit of sourdough starter and let's get cooking. Let's start by gathering all our ingredients and preheating your oven to 500 degrees. I use cast iron, so I'm preheating those while I gather everything. I need to shred some cheese, and that leads me to the first tip to making a better homemade pizza, which is using the right kind of cheese. I like to shred my own cheese to avoid the caking agent that's added to pre-shredded cheese you buy at the store. I like the flavor of cheese without the extra cornstarch. This also gives me more control over what kind of cheese I use. I've found that a mix of mostly Parmesan with a little mozzarella is the perfect blend, and my electric grater makes quick work of shredding this. I'll leave a link below for this one that I got off Amazon. Next, I'll need some olive oil, single origin preferably, to avoid any bitter flavors. I love the Terra Delissa brand from Walmart. You'll also need salt, baking powder, a teaspoon measuring spoon, oregano, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, and onion powder, and of course, your sourdough starter. Lots of sourdough starter. My jar was starting to get full, so instead of discarding some, I dumped most of it into a large bowl and overfed it on purpose and let it ferment so that I would have lots of dough to make pizza with. You can use however much active or inactive sourdough starter you have on hand to make this recipe. I'm going to add a teaspoon or so of salt for a little flavor. If you're working with only a little bit of starter, just use a pinch. Now for some olive oil. I eyeball this recipe most of the time, but I'll link my recipe on the blog in the description for those who want more exact measurements. Next up is some baking powder. And then stir it all up. You can see I'm using pretty active starter, but I've used inactive starter as well and got good results. The baking powder will make it rise regardless. I used tomato sauce in this video, but my favorite is some marinara. You'll want a spoon for spreading it around later. I grabbed some leftover sausage, but use whatever toppings you like. Once everything is gathered and the oven is preheated, remove the hot skillets and start assembling your pizza. I forgot that there was a little oil in one of these skillets, so it got a little smoky. Drizzle some olive oil on the pans and spread it around. Divide your dough evenly between your pans. My starter is quite thick since I feed it equal parts of water and flour in weight. I ended up grabbing a bench scraper to make working with the dough easier. Spread out the dough to fill up your pans. I honestly could have gotten a fourth pizza out of this batch, but that's okay. We just ended up with a thicker pizza crust, but it was still delicious. Drizzle on some more olive oil, then add just enough sauce to lightly coat the crust. Half of these pizzas were for a different meal, and in the future, I'd probably add extra sauce to any pizza that's going to be reheated. We were going out of town, and I wanted something easy to reheat when we got back, and leftover homemade pizza is definitely a cheaper yet still tasty option than ordering some. Next, you want lots of seasoning. I like to shake enough of each so that every slice of pizza gets a bit of everything. I like to use dried oregano as well as Italian for some extra flavor. And definitely lots of garlic and onion powder. It wouldn't be pizza without lots of garlic for sure. I also like to add an extra pinch of salt. Next, I start with the Parmesan cheese and cover most of each one with it, and then add just a bit of mozzarella to top it off. I like to think of it as a 2/3 Parmesan to 1/3 mozzarella ratio. I like to finish it off with some beef sausage. I do beef sausage not because it's necessarily the most perfect protein topping, but because it's the most affordable option that's still clean that we can get at the grocery store. I'm sure pork would be better, but we don't source any meat outside of the grocery store yet, so this is what we use. Bake it for 15 minutes until the cheese starts to brown. While it bakes and I clean up, I want to share the tips I've learned for making better homemade pizza. First is the cheese. Again, shredding your own cheese gives you better flavor without the extra additives, and a mix of Parmesan and mozzarella gives the best flavor. Second is the temperature. Pizzas are often baked at temperatures as hot as 700 degrees at restaurants. Our ovens at home definitely don't go that high, but 500 will give you a nice firm and chewy crust. This definitely helps sourdough starter discard out a lot. Third is heavily season the pizza. If you want lots of flavor, then you have to put lots of flavor on it. Fourth is lots of olive oil. I put some in the dough, under the dough, and on the dough. It gives it a better texture. The fifth tip is a rising agent. I add baking powder to this pizza dough because the sourdough starter by itself will not rise enough. No baking powder makes for a gummy texture. It's definitely still edible, but not ideal. Like I said, we were heading out of town for a few days when I filmed this, so that's why I made such a large batch. It was so nice when we got back home to have something to easily reheat. For someone who prioritizes making all of our meals as much as possible from scratch, this was a huge help. Once the pizzas are done and out of the oven, remove them from the cast iron to a cooling rack or plates or something so that they don't keep baking on the cast iron. For some reason, the pizza cutter won't cut all the way to the edge of my cast iron pizza pan, so I use a small knife to cut the last bit. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like or subscribe, and I'll see you all next time with more homemaking videos.